The first time was after a really challenging breastfeeding journey that took a long time to get to exclusively breastfeeding after topping it with formula. And I was absolutely terrified that my milk supply would reduce and I wouldn't be able to feed my baby. And it didn't, because we had all these conversations and plans in place. So my name is Emily Giuliano. I am currently a neonatal dietitian working on the neonatal unit at Northamptonshire General. When I first came back to work with my first baby, because I've had two, and was breastfeeding her, I was a paediatric dietitian in the community in NHFT. Professionally, as a neonatal dietitian, breastfeeding is a huge part of my role and things that we talk about, breast milk and supporting mums. And having kind of done it twice, I just want to kind of continue championing sort of breastfeeding in general. First baby, quite challenging, lots of anxiety around that. On top of that, my little one was 9 months old when I came back to work, so she wasn't very good at eating. So she was quite slow to wean. She had a lot of allergies and lots of reactions to food, like all foods. She also, by that point, when she was very little, we had to top up with formula. But when we got to exclusive breastfeeding, we stopped using bottles. And then trying to reintroduce bottles again, she did not drink from them. She did not take anything apart from directly feeding from me or like an open cup. So I could express and sort of take quite a long time feeding her from an open cup, but that's not necessarily practical at nursery. That wasn't necessarily practical for my mum who looked after her on a Friday. Free grandparent childcare, definitely a bonus. So it wasn't very practical for lots and lots of expressing lots of milk that then just wouldn't get drunk. Worried about someone walking in on you, or what do I do if I spill milk over everything, or so there are some practical things that we did to make sure the office was a secure environment. So working with managers that I sort of mentioned earlier, we kind of adjusted my working pattern so I could go and feed her in the middle of the day at nursery, do shorter days, have flexible working, so I could do some clinics from home where my mum could be downstairs looking after doing the childcare. I could pop down, give her a feed and disappear back off upstairs again. And then when I was at work, I could express to make sure I was maintaining my milk supply, preventing engorgement and things like that. I think basically having a mini fridge in the office as well, having it in the same room with me as opposed to with 20 other people. Little things like that when it's a big shared office fridge with 30 plus people going in and out of it all day to make the cups of tea. So yeah, having a fridge in my office made it a lot easier. Make sure you're having conversations early and being aware that babies change very quickly. You might kind of have a plan in place for your return to work in 4 weeks' time, and you might have a completely different situation by the time you actually get to work. So I think NHFT is generally quite a nice trust to work for, and they're very big on well-being. They're very big on sort of supporting, and certainly I felt very supported coming back.
My name's Katie Coles. I'm the infant feeding strategy lead at NHFT, and I would just like to thank Emily for her video. It's really lovely to hear in a mum's own words some challenges that she's overcome and how she managed breastfeeding and returning to work, because lots of mums think that when they go back to work it's a time to stop breastfeeding, and I think that's probably because we don't have a longer term culture of supporting breastfeeding. And actually lots of mums do carry on breastfeeding when they go back to work, but they do need support to do that, and it's really important that they are provided with that support. The World Health Organization recommend that babies and children are breastfed for 2 years and beyond. So really, as long as that mum and baby want to carry on breastfeeding, we should be supporting that.